get the recordings. This is over 150 webinars, so you'll be able to get access to all of the recordings of various topics that we talk about every single Friday. You can find all of that if you just follow the bit.ly address, which is, and it is case sensitive, so it's bit.ly/ELTLINK, which is all capitalized and then lowercase f. You can also find the bookmarks, so you'll just have to go to 2013 resources in order to get everything. Today we're going to talk about engaging teens with mobile devices. And if you look at the picture, this is actually from a recent class that I was teaching in Slovenia. So I tend to travel around and I train teachers all over the world, which is really incredible. And recently I was training teens in Slovenia and Croatia. So I'm going to go from some of those experiences, but I've been teaching for quite a while, since 1994, but also I started teaching teens in about 2004, so I'll relate from that time as well. I love actually teaching teens. I think teenagers are a great group, and I've never really had a problem motivating them. I think it's one of my specialties is that age group. I think all of us end up having a specialty and a special age group that we work with. Some of these ideas you can use with teenagers, I mean with others as well, not just teenagers. But I did want to speak a little about teenagers and how they develop, because I think it's very important that we understand teenagers and their developmental stage, because a lot of times we think they don't care, but it's not really that. It's really what's going on in their brain. And what's going on in their brain is that the brain is still in development. So there's a lot of things that they haven't fully developed. So they haven't fully developed their neocortex, which is responsible for language, empathy, and planning and executive functions. So at this stage, it's very critical, especially for language teachers, that we engage them with language and that we do get them to find it important, because this is the part where they're still developing and they can learn so much about language. The other part is that we all often say, ooh, they're disorganized. And I remember that with some of my students. I had one student from Mexico, and his desk, every day I would trip on a book or something, and it used to frustrate me so much. And at this particular point, we can help them. We can really begin to help them with learning how to organize, how to schedule things, how to make sure things are categorized, so they can just be more, they can use these skills when they're adults. Empathy. So a lot of times we think, they just don't care, but that's not the truth. The thing is that they're still developing, and there are so many things that they love because of this. So for example, when they're texting and they're using emoticons and stuff, this kind of explains like where they're, why they're so excited about emoticons and things, because they're not really good at expressing emotion so much. So the emoticon kind of is a filter for that, or a representation of their emotion. The other thing is they rely a lot on more reactive gut reactions, and they're not really good at reading emotions and stuff. All of this is actually from Edutopia, has this great book that they do an interview about with Raleigh Phillip, and it's engaging tweens and teens for middle school and high school. And he gives some particular teaching tips during the interview, which is survival and emotional needs must be met, and we have to change this psychological state about every 20 minutes. So they have a short attention span, and they need more sleep during this particular time. When they're developing, they need probably about 10 hours of sleep, and we know that most teenagers probably get about 6. So in our classes, they tend to be really, 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 really tired. So we just have to be patient and persistent, and we can really get them to and to care about the information that we are delivering, but also we can get them engaged and we can get them really involved with it. So what do teens like to do with mobile devices? There's several types of mobile devices. They're always on their phones. They love their phones. So we can use this to engage them with language. They like to listen to music. They like to text and chat. They like to create videos, use social networks, play games, edit and share photos. And these are all great ways to learn language. So I recently ran into this infographic, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. It's social media, social life, how teens view their digital lives. And you can find all of these links if you go to the Pearl Tree, because the Pearl Tree have bookmarked everything. So I'll give you that, and again, I put it at the beginning, but I'll give it to you again when we go and we at the end, and you'll get all the links to this as well. But one of the things that we have here is they say that 75% of them, that's a big chunk, have a profile on a social networking site. They use 68% use Facebook, 6% use Twitter, and 1% use Google+. Now, this is commonsensemedia.org, and commonsensemedia.org is really, really great with using different types of things. It's a great site that gives you so many resources for internet safety and teaching your kids this. So the great thing about this is that you can see what they said. They surveyed over 1,000 teenagers just randomly. And so this was answers from the survey. So this is 6% of the 1,000, 68% of the 1,000. And then, of course, 1% on Google+. But 20% have used at least 2 different ones. So it's important that we use, different types of social networks. And so you can see how a lot of them like it. So social network makes us feel better than worse. We feel that social networking helps our relationship with friends. 52% agreed on that. And with their family, versus they felt 37%. So they believe that social networks really help them communicate and things like that. And then actually, in a way, it might be true, because a lot of times you can see families, that's the way they communicate, on Facebook, rarely on Twitter. But my sister, with her 18-year-old, my niece, she communicates on Twitter. They've been communicating on Twitter for about 2 or 3 years. And my niece, at least, all her friends are on Twitter. And a lot of their moms will communicate with them on Twitter as well. It's a great way to keep track of them as well. Here's some other things that they have. They would rather talk to someone in person, 49%. So that's very, very good. Versus by text, which is 33%. And then on a social network next. They sometimes get tired. 36% actually get tired of being wired. They get tired of being, so that's really good. And then also it tends to show that females are more into social media than men, which is not that surprising. Girls like to talk and a lot of stuff. They're also the ones who love posting photos, which Instagram is a really popular. Unfortunately, Instagram isn't listed on here, but I can guarantee that Instagram is definitely one of the top social sites for teens. So with this information in mind, and we know that teenagers use all of this, here are some ideas on how to engage them with mobile devices, how to motivate them. Set up a mobile-friendly class community. You can either do this Facebook group or a hashtag. I really recommend Facebook groups. It does a lot of different things. It takes care of a lot of problems, and we'll talk about it in a little. You can set up a Twitter account or hashtag. Definitely YouTube class site. I think that's a given. That's one of the most popular social networks for teenagers. It didn't show that in that infographic, but I can guarantee that Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram are the top 3 that teenagers around the world go to. And I would say YouTube and Instagram are probably even more than Facebook. A group Tumblr. Tumblr is one of these new things. Now, Tumblr has questionable material, so I would definitely say that you have to be about 16 on up, and definitely look at the Tumblr and make sure for your group, because in some countries different types of things they're exposed to aren't as important as in other countries. So I definitely think that you should check out for Instagram what the options are. But Instagram has so many, I mean for Tumblr, but Tumblr has so many options to interact and engage students. It's set up in a Emoto group. Emoto is very friendly. It's educational friendly, and it doesn't have really any kinks or anything. So I believe you can be 13 on up to set up an Emoto group. Emoto has different features. It's really changed things in the last month. And you can set up a Google Plus community. I love Google Plus for a lot of different reasons. Unfortunately, a lot of teens aren't on Google Plus, but you can find a lot of these ideas and stuff. There's a lot of webinars that relate to this, so I bookmarked them in the Pearl Tree, and then you can go back and then you can check these types out. You can also have access to the slides later. I'll show you how to do that, and then you can see this. When you're working with Facebook groups, I really like Facebook groups, one, because your teenagers are on Facebook, so the likelihood that they will actually participate is very high. In this particular Facebook group, there's over 13,000 members. This is the Improved Spoken English, and this is run by Jason R. Levine. And Jason, he's MC Fluency. He's a great English language teacher. But the great thing about this group is it does so many things that are right with how to run a Facebook group. The other thing it takes care of is it's very private, so you can make it private. You can protect and offer all of these ways for your students to be protected and post things. The other good thing is with a Facebook group, then your students won't be tempted to friend you, because you can always say, or you can take care of the question, or when they do friend you, you can say, you can communicate with me in the Facebook group, so please communicate with me there. And they won't be so offended, or they'll take that as a way to connect with you. I really like how different people in the group, so there's different activities you can do. You can post memes. Memes are usually, like, you might have seen the grumpy cat. There are different ways of students to create posters and play with language. So it's really great. You can put memes up there. Students post memes all the time and they love it. You can have them create pictures of different vocabulary and they can post it up and then they can do it. You can have them do the little speech bubbles, caption contests and stuff. And when they do this, they can always post it on their own Facebook groups as well. You can, I like things like this, where you post it and you post it as an image and then you get thousands of replies. Here, it's a fun little thing for the spoken English group, and it's name a movie which does not contain the letter S, which, you know, makes you want to go and enjoying these kind of activities. So these are things you can do to make your Facebook group very interactive and to have them think about language and to participate and engage them. Edmodo, this is what Edmodo looks like about now. It looks a lot like Facebook, so teens might like it. The thing about Emoto is that students don't have to register for it. On Facebook, they don't really have to register for it. It's just some other spot that they go to within Facebook, and they always have their Facebook open. But Emoto is very, it's protected, so you can have your different groups there. You can have your different communities. This is what it looks like. You can check it out. It has different apps, so it's a great way to have a private online forum for your students. And it has a free app, a free mobile app. So this Facebook, so this Google Plus, so this Tumblr, all of those have one. You can learn with images. Teens love to take pictures, and they love to do different things with pictures. That's why Instagram is such a great networking site for them. That's why it took off and it's so popular. So there are teachers who actually teach with Instagram. They have an Instagram class account, and so things you can do is like every week you can have where they, whatever the textbook is, let's say that whatever you're teaching within that time frame of the textbook, let's say whether it's restaurants or whether it's sports, for the week you can have them post pictures that represent either phrases, idioms, or different type of vocabulary and language that's representative of that theme within the book. So it could be something that's an ongoing thing every day, and it's participatory. In other words, you can just grade by the participation. It doesn't have to be something that or it doesn't even have to be graded. A lot of them will just do it. So you'll say, we have a class Instagram. This week we're doing sports. So, you know, and they'll have pictures of them with their friends and things like that to upload to the account. BeFunky. BeFunky is one of my favorite editors. The great thing about BeFunky is that you can add text and stuff. Pic Collage, they'll love it. Photofunia, Imagechef, all of these are apps that I recommend on mobile devices. Those are my teens in Slovenia. So you have a visual dictionary going on Instagram. You can have different digital stories. You can have memes. So things like Muzi, the Muzi app will give you templates so they can have memes that they can create. You do have to be careful about Muzi. Imagechef is good. They can make digital magazines and newspapers. So whatever pictures that they do create, you can have them put it within something like if you're creating an online magazine or an online newspaper. Or if they're doing podcasts, a lot of times with podcasts, they can add an image to go with it. They can use it for their presentations. You can use these as writing prompts. They can do it to put some inspirational quotes. They can use it as an advertisement, or they can put this in different types of stories. If they're doing an Animoto project, which is a video project, they can add them to Animoto. So there's so many things they can do with images. This is what BeFunky looks like. And for the free Android version, so it comes out in all devices, which I absolutely love. You can do things like Instagram. You can edit, you can add filters. But you can also, which is even better than Instagram, is you can add different types of text as well, which I think is great for language learning. So they can do that. They can have captions. They can have demotivational posters and stuff like that. Another really great one that's on all devices is the Pic Collage, which is also for iOS and Android, so you can put in your iPad, or you can also have this app, and it's free. It allows you to add text, and it also allows you to add tons and tons of pictures. The great thing about it too is it will export to Instagram, so they'll absolutely love that it exports to Instagram. Another one is Photofunia. Now, Photofunia is iOS, Android, and you can go to photofunia.com and you can do this online as well. But the great thing is with this app, you can do really cool things. You can make posters like outside. You can do different types of squares. I mean, it has like over like almost 100 where an artist is painting your picture. So it has so many cool things that happen with your picture. And from there, they can use that as a writing prompt. Okay, so why was your picture painted, you know, and they can create a story out of that. Or here, your picture was on a billboard. Tell us why. What did you do? So there's so many things you can do with that. Imagechef. Imagechef is a great site. You can add different things like the Wordle, and you can add memes as well. It's protected within the app, so it's a great app as well. They're not really exposed to anything bad in it or anything like that. You can have visual poetry. You can add quotes. So many great things with Imagechef. You can create interactive image posters with ThingLink. Now, ThingLink.com is sort of like an infographic. It's a way that you can add pictures, but you can also add text, you can add video, you can add a link. So they can take a picture and then they add these little tiny dots, and these dots have information. They can add Twitter, they can add, and it's great because if they're researching something, let's say that they're researching something from the 60s or something like that, then they can add information to it. It's great for history projects, and it's great when they're adding information. Let's say you want them to take a picture. You can have an activity such as take a picture of a memory, a memory from your past, and then they can take that picture and they can actually write text to describe it. What did you do this past summer vacation or holiday? Then they can have this picture and they can actually add a video from there of a place they visited, or they can add text, or they can add a link of information of that place. So it's a great way to get them to explore language and do research as well with an image. Learn with video. So students love to take video. These are the apps that I recommend: Animoto, QuoFX, WeVideo, YouTube, and I learned about WeVideo from Jake, who's in the classroom right now, which I love. WeVideo is fantastic. It's a way to do a collaborative video, so you can have all of your students work on one video, or they can get in groups, and they can use this app as well as browser tool. And it works with iOS. It's for iPhone and Android, and it's a free way to get started. These are my students. They're making videos. They love to make videos. They're making a video, actually on here, they were making a video about how they did a commercial. So we did advertisements. They had to invent an app that would take care of a problem for teenagers. So they invented an app, and then they filmed. They got a chance to go outside and film the videos. So there's different ideas you can do with videos. For teens, they love to do lip dubs. That's where they have a famous video, and they go and they all gather as a class, and they don't sing it. They lip sync it. So they love creating these types of different ones as well. Tutorial is one. They can do a tutorial, so you can get a lot of days now. You have teenagers that go on and they actually have their own YouTube channel and they do tutorials. One of my favorite ones that I introduced to Jake was one on how to do makeup. She does different types of makeup, and she's actually quite famous. But they do different types all the time. They can cook. You can have them do their favorite hobby: how to throw a football, how to cook, how to, I've had in the past my students do how to make tea from China, different things like that. So they can do different things and show different things. They can do a screencast where they show their favorite website and favorite tool, and they show how to use it. A commercial, like an advertisement, like with them. They could do news reports. They can do music videos, documentaries, movie previews, video diaries. So a lot of times I'll get them to do, for example, let's say that they read a book. Whatever their favorite book, you can have them come and you can say, what was a book that you read, or a magazine? You're going to pitch it as a movie. So make a preview about it, and we'll see it, a very short preview, maybe a minute or something, and we'll look at it as the class, and we'll decide which one gets to be made a movie. So that's something that they can do. There's great apps for that. There's Magisto. Magisto is for iOS and it's for Android. It's a lot like Animoto. I love Animoto as well. So it's just kind of one of those things, whichever you prefer. But they can do a lot with Magisto. They have a lot of different filters. They can draw a video. I mean, it has a lot of different themes. It has very popular music, which is something that they might like to do. This may be really good, for example, a lip dub or something if they're having Taylor Swift or Gangnam Style. It has a lot of different types of music that are more with up to date. So that's one of the benefits of having Magisto versus having something else like Animoto. You can create effects for the movies. So when they make movies, you can use the free apps such as Quo, Movie Effects, Creature Effects, an action movie effect. My favorite is Quo Movie Effects because Quo Movie Effect is in iOS and it's in Android, so you can get it for various types of mobile devices. Creature Effects and Action Movie Effects is for iPad. But what it does is that you can actually film a real scene in real life, and it takes augmented reality, and it does things like it makes explosions or puts a crazy creature or a dinosaur or something, and so they can take these little movie clips. It's only a short movie clip, and then you need a video editor to piece it all together. So you can use video editor, which is on there's a video editor that's really good. If you go back to this slide, there's a video editor for Android that's really good, which is VidTrim Android. VidTrim Android, you can use that. But you can use Vid Editor Free for iOS, which is the one that I'm showing here, to piece it all together. You can do SoundCloud. You can learn with music. They can do SoundCloud, Song Pop, Video Stars, Small Cinnabate, and Shazam. I'm going to show you two that I think are really awesome, which teens love, which is you create a music video with Video Star. Now this is only iOS, but you can see here how they have different effects. You can pick different songs as well. You can add text. You can dance, you can do all these things. It's made just so you can have a video, a music video, so it's really fantastic for that. And it's free. You can use SoundCloud to have different types of discussion. If you use Smule Beat is the same thing. It's iOS as well, and you can make music videos, and it's really, really cool. This one is so you can have different discussions. You can see different music. Now, this one you have to watch out for as well. Sometimes the stuff they have on there isn't so great, so I would recommend maybe 17 on above. But I've used it to make discussions. The great thing about it is when you record a discussion here, I record sounds, and then they have to discuss. They have to do an activity where they guess where I am. I'm actually at the Starbucks, but people guess different things. With this one, you can actually create comments. So you can do it within different time frames of the video. So they can make comments within the different audio. Sound Pop is a new game that people love to play, and it's a great way to learn language as well. Your students are probably playing it on their Facebook. It comes out on their Facebook. It comes out on Android, iOS. They can get it on their mobile devices. But the great thing is about it is that they listen to music, so they're listening to English, and then they're going and they're playing against their friends. You can put on the wiki like how they're doing and stuff like that, like who's winning and things like that, and they'll love that. You can engage with games just like Song Pop. They'll love doing things like that. But there's so many games out there that you can have on mobile devices. Secret Passages Hidden, that's a great one. Objects for iOS. Can You Escape and Secret Passages Hidden are both on both devices. The Sims Free Play, Dark Canvas, Scramble with Friends, Words with Friends, Hanging with Friends, Song Pop. Can You Escape? So this is for iOS or Android. What you can do is you get different types of scenes, and you have to escape. You have to click on different areas to find hidden objects and stuff as well. It's a new game, I think, that just came out in June. The way that you get language into any type of game like this, where it's an escape game and things like that, is you have walkthroughs. And if you just take these games like Can You Escape or The Secret Hidden, you're gonna, if you put it in Google, you're gonna find all of these cheats, and you're gonna also find the walkthrough. And what you want to do is when you're playing that with your students, you have them go through the walkthrough, and then you can do things with the language within the walkthrough. You can even copy the language within the walkthrough, and then you can have them reflect. You can have them do a mind map before, and there's different activities you can do. One of my favorite blogs is Digital Play ELT, and it talks a lot about using walkthroughs for language learners. And it's the Digital Play. They won an Elton. It's Graham Stanley and Kyle Meir, and two very good friends of mine. they have a book out there too, and they talk about how to use games with language learners, and that's how. Learn through chatting. So there's so many different chatting things. You can have them do their own conversations. They can work in pairs. And there's some great chatting services that students love. Tango or Woo, which are both video chatting options. Tango is very popular. A lot of teens use Tango. Google Hangouts, not so popular, but they like it. Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger recently got all these stickers. They got all these emoticons. They got all these little kind of crazy creatures recently. I think about 2-3 weeks ago they imported all this, so now it's very, very popular. Skype, you can Skype with other classes around the world, so there's many different things that you can do with teens with these different types of mobile apps. Glide, you can add offline video messages, but you have to have a Facebook account. Boxer, Haytel, and Zello are walkie-talkie apps. You can have up to 10 or even 40. I think in Boxer you can have 40 within a class, and they could all just talk to each other through different apps like this. It works like a walkie-talkie. So there are different types of things they can do too. If you use the Voicethread app, which is only iOS, but it's a fantastic app. So if you have an iPad, this is a great free tool to use. You can even use the browser too, voicethread.com, and you can hold class debates and discussions. Put something out there, put a picture, put something out there that they can react to get them thinking about serious issues. So for example, how do you feel about the new gay marriage? How do you feel about an African American being a president now? How do you feel about do you think men and women have the same kind of equality when it comes to jobs? I mean, you can throw a lot of serious issues out there for them to discuss and really contemplate and think about. And you'll find that a lot of them get really into it and they really want to support their stand. Have them blog. You can do something like, here's a Tumblr. Tumblr, they love Tumblr. It motivates them. If you want a safe option, one of my favorite tools, and it's absolutely easy to do, they don't even need an email to register. It's just kidblog.org. So if you go to kidblog.org, that's a much safer option. Although if you have older students and they're 17 and stuff, then the great thing about Tumblr is they have different features that make it very good for a class, which is Ask Me Anything. Of course, they don't filter the information, so you do have to watch out for that. But the Ask Me Anything, they can, if you have a class Tumblr, you can actually, the students have a place where they can ask you anything. They can just go up there and they can ask you any question and you can answer them. Or they can submit posts that way as well. So there's different things they can do. You can find a lot of things for promoting literacy for teens and other types of webinars I've done for teens, including specific activities such as Guess the Character, where each student goes and they, from a book or novel, they become, or even if you're teaching history, they become the characters and they have to have a modern conversation. You can use any of the chatting options and they just do it, they modernize it. And they make it on their own. Now, all of these you can find, these resources you can actually find, including the slides, which are going to be there in about an hour, on the Pearl Tree. So let me go ahead and get that. This is case sensitive, so let me get that for you. And you can find all of the resources there, or you can just simply go to the bit.ly. And the bit.ly, if you go to 2013 resources tab, you're going to find all of the bookmarks, you're going to find recordings, and you're going to find your certificate to download there. You can find a lot of different things on my mLearning site. I even have a book, so you can have a free book as well, with many, many more activities. You know, in 30 minutes, you can never get through everything. And actually, you